Hi, this is the entire history of Djibouti, I guess, because I have nothing better to do with my life and because high school totally doesn't exist. Let's go. So, Djibouti was the site of some medieval something or other. I don't know, the pronunciation is weird. Anyway, those something or other signed a treaty with the French to colonize the place. Things were going great for the French and the something or others, until the people who lived there decided it wasn't going great. Hey, so the people who started living there before the other people who started living there. The French liked the something or others who were here after we were here too much. And the French responded, Look, what are we supposed to do? They told us we could be here, so that means we have to treat them well, because otherwise they might make us leave or something. And the people who started living there before the other people who started living there said, but we didn't want you here in the first place. And the French responded, too bad, until eventually the French had had enough with the bickering of the people who were living there before the other people who were living there started living there, and said, okay, fine, we'll have a fair vote to decide whether we want to become part of Somalia or stay our own country. Does that make you happy? Also, you won't be able to vote, so we get to do what we want. Screw you. Unfortunately for the French, the Somali read through the fine print and started protesting the vote. So 9 years later, in 1967, the French decided to stay independent and renamed the place to the French territory of the Afars and the Isas. The Somali disliked this name, partly because it was too long, but mostly because it didn't acknowledge them as the people who lived there before the other people who started living there. The French finally gave in, however, and after a final vote in 1977 decided that the French territory of the Afars and the Isas would be named Djibouti. The tension finally settled. The name of the country was finally short enough, and the Somalis and Afars could finally settle their differences and had the same amount of power to rule their country. That all lasted for about 15 years, until the 1990s when things started heating up again. You see, a supposedly wise man named Hassan Guled Abdidan, was elected to run the country. He was a fair and kind president who immediately established an authoritarian one-party state. Meanwhile, Djibouti is in the middle of a war. A civil war. The Somali majority and Afar minority started to not like each other very much, and decided they had to start killing each other. After the differences had been settled once again, they decided to have two parties, and elected another wise leader, Ismail Omar Gila. Once he was the leader, he decided he liked it. In fact, he liked it so much that he changed the rules to make him the leader for the next 20 years. And that's about where the country is now, with the dude who likes being the leader in charge, and the Afars and Somali no longer in a war against each other. Alright, time for statistics for nerds, and the AP Hug teacher in my entire class who was watching this video and actively judging me for my sins. Most people live in the capital of Djibouti, which the country is named after. There are probably a lot of people there because the entire place is made from sand and sandstorm. So if there's already a place with people in it, you should probably go there. The arithmetic density is 111. Anyway, because the place is a desert, the physiological density is low at just 2,590. Now that might sound like a large number, but the higher that number is, the less the amount of land you can farm on is. The agricultural density, you can just call it the farmer density, is about 10%, which means that not very many people are farming. As previously mentioned, there's basically no farmable land because Djibouti is a desert with much sand and sandstorms. There are about 1.9% more people there than last year. Bonus round. If you're born in Djibouti, how many years do you get before you perish into oblivion and eventually get turned into dust and rearranged into a piece of bark on a tree? That's right, 65.9 years. If only it was 66, because 65.9 is the least satisfying number in the entire world. You also have a 7 in 1,000 chance that you die each year, so that's pretty fun. In addition to having a 7 in 1,000 chance of being unalived, there are also 21.8 babies for every 1,000 people. See, after the 21st baby is born, there's a statistically high chance that the 22nd baby will be born without arms, which is why the number is 21.8. Seriously though, statistics people need to learn how to round up, or make things realistic. I mean, do these people not go to school? In the same vein, 2.11 babies are born per woman. So I guess now there's a chance that the third baby is just arms? You know what? These statistician people are actually geniuses. You see, the 22nd baby is born without arms, and the third baby is the arms that were taken from the 22nd baby. I guess I was wrong all this time. Huh. Anyway, because of all these baby arms appearing all over the place, a lot of people want to leave. In fact, out of 1,000 people, 4.2 are predicted to leave. 4.2?! Oh my gosh, why? I take back everything I said about statisticians. They have no intelligence. These twisted, evil decimal numbers will haunt me for the rest of my days. Thankfully, I only have 2 days left, and then the rest of my days I live will be legally owned by the government, so I don't have much to worry about. Speaking of living, here's a population pyramid of the age of people living there. The bigger the base of the pyramid, the younger the population is, and the larger the number of babies per woman goes up, so maybe we won't have to live in a dystopian world where the number of babies per woman isn't a whole number. Anyway, because of how big that pyramid base is, I would say there are way more people living there each year, which makes me feel bad for all the babies who are born into a friggin' desert and live there for the entire 65.9-year-old lives. After all this, you might be wondering where this place is located. I'm certainly not, but I shall tell you anyway, because this wouldn't be the entire history of Djibouti if I didn't mention it now, would it? Anyway, Djibouti is bordering the Gulf of Aden and the Red Sea. If anyone knows where that is, good for you. I'll pin your comment, I guess. For everyone else who doesn't know where it is, the geographical coordinates are 1130 north, 4300 east. And for everybody who doesn't want to figure out where that is, here's a picture of where Djibouti is on screen. If there's anyone who hasn't seen a map in their life, that place is Africa, home of the deserts, the sands, the sandstorm. Also, the country happens to be in stage 2. I won't give any more context because I don't want to. You have to explain it. What? I said you have to explain it and give reasoning in it. Okay, fine, school assignment, but this is like a really boring thing to explain. Then explain it in the least words possible so as to, yeah, I get it, shut up. Okay, here goes. The stage a country is in shows us how many babies are being born and how many people are dying. Stage 2 is the stage where the death rate of a country is going down a lot and the birth rate is staying more or less the same. Because the population chart of Djibouti shows that a lot of babies are being born each year and the death rate is lowering, it means it is in stage 2. Is it done now? Okay, good. Back to happiness. Finally, we have to talk about birth control. Yay! Every teenager's favorite thing. Djibouti doesn't really have any population control policies, which explains why there are so many people being born there each year. They do, however, have a few simple things they do, like increasing education for teens about their favorite thing, and they do have a women's rights policy. I would probably suggest a one-baby policy, like China, because there are only so many resources in the desert for people to have. And just remember, as the beloved Joseph Stalin once said, dark humor is like food. Not everyone gets it.